part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today we are continuing our July coverage of every Wolverine movie ever made with the second Wolverine movie called simply The Wolverine, a.k.a. Logan Noir. Joining me today are two wonderful guests. This first guest, I feel like I booked you, feels like years ago. Months ago. They just flew back in from New York. Please welcome to your ears. They are a known performer lady and a 9-to-5 corporate girly. We have Elim Almedom. Hello, Elim.
Ooh. Hi, hello.
And just to confirm, did I do it right? Did I get the name right?
Kind of. Almedom.
Almedom. Oh, it's a dome, not a dom.
It's a dome. Mm-hmm. It's not a dom.
Not a dom. Never a dom, always a dome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I feel like months ago, you've been months
and months.
Your name has been on the spreadsheet for this movie for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And here we are. So happy.
And here we are. And I feel like such a fool that it took me this long to book this next guest. I mean, the name is there. Like, he is the name of our titular star. This next guest, they're an actor, a comedian, and don't sleep on them because they are a great pool boy to have. Please welcome Logan Hulick.
Hi. Yeah, I'm working on the pool this morning. That's my part-time gig.
Man, I say don't limit yourself. Full-time pool boy.
I'll pool boy, I'll paint a fence, I'll sweep a garage, whatever you need.
And folks, it's going to be just like this for the whole episode. So we have watched The Wolverine. Elim, I want to go to you first. What is your relationship with like Marvel movies and specifically the X-Men movies? Like, did you watch all of them, or was this your first Marvel movie ever? I have no idea. Please tell me.
It's not my first Marvel movie ever, but I've seen the Black Panther films. I see the ones that everybody talks about, but not really. I haven't seen like Age of Ultron. Is that what it is?
Yeah, don't see that one.
Okay, but all the big ones, Endgame, I'm familiar with them. I see them happening around me, but I don't really engage with them. So I was nervous when you asked about doing this because I was like, do I have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of these films? So I don't think I've ever seen any Wolverine ever.
Wow.
I'm familiar with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I've never watched him. This is my first time.
That's amazing. I think that's why I chose this one for you, because personally, I feel like it's a very standalone movie. It's like one storyline. There are some elements. We'll get into Jean Grey because, of course, Famke Janssen apparently is just in lockstep with 20th Century Fox and has to do so many of these movies. But Elim, how did you enjoy your first Wolverine romp? Just initial thoughts.
I absolutely loved it. I had a great time. I do think, I was thinking, I was like, is this how I was like, this is not how Guardians of the Galaxy is. There's not a bunch of people themselves open in Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, this feels like a grittier, like a what the Marvel universe is known as now, where it's more like not for kids, but like they're meant to be enjoyed by all. Whereas it felt kind of more graphic than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, this came out in 2013, so like Marvel was like, we had just finished Avengers 1, like the first Avengers movie had come out, but like we're still kind of Christopher Nolan, those gritty Batman movies is still like reigning supreme. Going over to Logan Hulick. Honestly, my first question for you is, how did it feel hearing your name several times while watching this movie? What's that like?
It was wild. I mean, a couple times I looked down the hallway, because I was like, is someone calling my name? No.
As you were watching the TV screen, you're like,
yeah, I'm like, who's the woman in my home screaming my name? I don't, it was, so I try not to be self-indulgent, and so
I've always said that about you.
Yeah. So I don't watch too many Logan movies, or Wolverines.
Yeah.
No, I've seen about. I think I've seen a couple of them. I've probably seen about 30% of the Marvel movies. I would say a lot of the
Couldn't be me.
What?
It's just wild to hear that's such a low number compared to me, which
I
I think it's
know.
100%.
30. Yeah, it's got. I looked online before this. I think it was. I think there's like there. I don't know how old this article was. I didn't double check it, but like 40 some there has been now. Does that sound right? About
That sounds right. Yeah.
yeah. So I've probably seen about 15, maybe 20,
Hmm.
50 or so. Yeah. So that would be 30, 40%. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
It was.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think just a lot of action, a lot of Elim said, like a little darker than the other ones, a little more like some blood, some gory,
Yeah.
some,
Car-
yeah.
Carving some like
You know,
sucking the adamantium out of his knuckles.
yeah.
God.
When you're
It
like,
got really dark.
it
Yeah.
did. When he's like, I'm gonna rip my heart out, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Okay, I will jump in with my thoughts. I absolutely love this movie. I love this movie so much that I'm like, do I
Ew.
even like do I even like the one that comes after it, which is just called Logan, which again, Logan really should have had you for that, but it's already booked. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Um
I just don't get, I know I'm like down the line on your booking. I know it's fine.
you and I'm glad you already know that.
Yeah.
But it just would be too confusing. We're talking about Logan, too much.
It's already
Um
confusing.
But this movie, I'm just like, from what I remember of the rated R Logan, which we'll be talking about next week, I feel like this movie hits all the same beats of like, he's got the tragic past. He's like trying to remove himself from society. And then he gets pulled into this like very specific one off adventure involving the yakuza, which I'll say this, my favorite crime family, over mafia and the triad and everyone else. Love the yakuza because they use swords.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I will say, I do think it falls apart at the end when the snake woman literally became a snake. I was like, all right. It felt like we
Yeah.
were doing like a really smart adult contemporary thing. And then we had killer robots and snake people. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
the last like 20 minutes, things really accelerated.
Yeah. And, Marvel's going to Marvel at the end of the day.
It
Uh,
simply
Yeah. Well, you know how like snakes can eat like a rat, and swallow the whole thing.
yeah.
I would have liked to see her, if she's really going to be a snake, like eat the machine,
Yeah.
and just
in
take him
her
down,
jaw.
and
Yeah.
then
Just,
watch it have to try to like work through her body. That would have been cool, but
yeah. That's my friend Logan, everybody. He's a dang ass freak. Um, let's get into this movie. Aleem, we had some researchers do some facts about both of my guests, and I found out your favorite year is 1945. So that perfect. That's right where this movie starts.
Wow.
Yeah. So Aleem, talk to me about the beginning of this, because as someone who's never seen a Wolverine movie, like, did you understand what was going on? That it was like the past, and he still looked like Hugh Jackman.
I immediately knew it was 1945 because, of course, that is my favorite year. So
Yes.
I could tell from like the machinery, from the uniforms. I was like, the cut of the uniforms. I know exactly where we are.
All about the cut.
I when because it starts with him like in the bottom of like a big old tunnel.
Mhm.
I was like, what's he doing in there? How'd he get there? I guess he's a prisoner of war, but I don't know why.
This is if you've seen the terrible Wolverine movie, Wolverine Origins, which came out in 2009. Before this, it established that Wolverine, he was in every war. He really loves to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
He's a soldier.
He's forced to fight. He can't not fight.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I also didn't really know what Wolverine's powers were other than the nails or the claws.
Yeah.
So then I understood very quickly when the whole nuclear bomb didn't hurt him. I was like, I think nothing can hurt him, maybe. And that's when I was like, I'm really picking up quickly on what's happening here.
Yeah. That's lovely. Wait, let me get this name. So many names that I don't want to butcher, but I probably will.
He
We
got out of there
get
quick, though. Let's just say that real fast. Of that tunnel,
yeah.
he got out of there quick.
What do you mean?
The part
Oh,
where
yeah. I know.
like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yoshida is gonna go kill himself, and
Mhm.
they're about to like the bomb's coming. Like that was pretty epic. He got out of there fast and got past the bomb back into the tunnel quick.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
like ran away from a nuclear bomb. That's how fast he is. He was faster
Right.
than a nuclear bomb.
And I don't know. I didn't
That's
know
my
that
guy.
was- Yeah, I didn't know that was part of his deal. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, going for it.
Yeah, they do a little fast and loose with his abilities because he's like parkouring all over the place in this movie, and I'm like, can he also? Is he good at jumping and like landing on shit?
He is, I guess. But when you get that jacked, you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get that Jack Man.
Mhm.
Um,
And
Is he
that
like
is
really?
also when I realized, like, oh, this is meant to be gritty because the movie starts with three Japanese soldiers who realize they're about to die, stabbing themselves with swords, and then Yoshida's like, I actually don't want to do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he was just gonna stand there and just like take the blast, and that I love that. I love this feels like my AKA for this was Logan Noir Logan, and this whole movie feels very film noir to me, and I love that idea of like the person he saved is also the person who's behind the whole plot at the end of the day, and it's like, man, Logan, if you would just let him get blasted, none of this
Mhm.
would have happened.
You know?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that's good.
And and it's because the rest of the soldiers were doing, like, I don't know, like there's this honor. The Japanese soldiers were like, we must kill ourselves rather than die. I don't know. They were like, we were gonna have that honor. And he kind of he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, the
Mhm.
honorable soldier thing. And then you know what? He's not an honorable soldier. He's actually a bad guy.
Say that. Say that.
Mhm.
Drag
Mhm.
Right.
Yoshida. Yasuda. What? Oh my God, this man's name.
Yoshida.
Yoshida. Yoshida. You should have never.
Mhm.
So, okay, that's 1945. We go to present day. Logan Hulick. Again, we've fact checked both of you. So Logan, we have word that you spent some time living in the woods and befriended many bears.
Yeah.
Did you feel like this was an accurate representation for a man living off the grid?
Yeah, I did.
Mm,
I was in northern Wisconsin at the time. And
lovely area.
yeah, yeah. And one of the things is, when you're in the woods, you can tend to get like lonely, you know.
Mm,
There's a
yeah.
sense of despair that comes over you, if
Hmm.
you're there too long. Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
and it's kind of it's a similar effect of, something like The Shining, or something,
Yeah.
it's like you're getting all consumed by this. So, I've been there. I came through on the other side. It's really good to be able to watch this and be able to relate to that story.
Wow.
Wow. And
I
honestly,
didn't,
bravest man I know.
yeah, I didn't have a woman come pick me up in the car and tell me I have to go visit uh, an old Japanese friend, but it was a very similar way I got out too.
Yeah. And you did go to Tokyo. But
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little bit later when we're
yeah,
there.
backwards. Yeah, I went backwards.
Oh, let's bookmark that. Uh, so yes, this is where we meet Yukio, I believe,
Mhm.
Yeah,
which slam dunk. Honestly, I love Yukio.
I know.
Anyone gonna fight me on this?
No, absolutely. I was
No.
like, where has she been? I was like, how come this is my only time I've ever met this charming young lady?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was like, that's what I thought too. When I was like 2013, where has she been?
Where has she been? What is her? Her name is Ryla Fukushima. Gosh, I don't really recognize any of these movies. Oh, she was on the CW's Arrow, which, if you don't know, I love Arrow. I love arrows. Also, arrows were huge in this movie.
Yeah, that
Huge.
fits. They were
Huge.
huge. Do you
She
like
was
it?
in Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson.
Ugh.
Yeah. And we're not mad at her for that. That's not her thing.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
we all
Ryla's
take
fault.
that job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, Logan, you were gonna ask me a question?
Well, so yeah, Yukio, I just feel like she's like the X factor of the movie, right? Like
Oh
she
yeah,
comes in, she changes the
pun
game.
intended.
Yeah, it's pun intended, exactly. And yeah, I just really enjoyed her, beginning to end.
Yeah, and I think adding to what you were saying, Aleem, about this being like a very gritty movie, I think her power is like very dark. That like her only superpower is that she always can tell when people are, or like she knows when everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Not
And
fun. She foresaw her parents' death as a child.
yeah,
She reveals to him like later in the movie. Like, poor Yukio.
Yeah,
I
That's the
know.
worst superpower. Who wants, is that even a superpower? I guess they're mutants, not like superheroes. So it's not.
I mean, okay, I have two things to extrapolate that the movie didn't say, but I did personally interpret. I don't want to get too much into X-Men 3, which this movie takes place after the events of X-Men 3, which saw the death of Jean Grey. We have to talk about that, I guess. But, there's no Professor X. Like, Professor X did die in X-Men 3. And his whole thing was like he was training mutants and teaching them how to use their powers better. I feel that Yukio can see more than just death, but because no one's trained her on her mutant ability, that's just the only thing she can do. But I bet if someone could like work with her, who like also has maybe prophetic powers or mind reading abilities or whatever, could probably help her expand her powers. But because she was an orphan, no one's trained her. That's extrapolation one. And the second thing I kind of put on her, I think that's why she likes Logan, because he can't die. So I bet he's like the first person she's ever met. She's like, oh, I can't see your death, so I'm gonna, of course, lop on to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a life lesson here because
teach it.
Well, like as Elim said, like that's like almost a curse, not even like a superpower. So
yeah,
this person that might have like the most cursed thing in the whole movie is the most positive, like uses everything to the betterment of the people around them. She has that quality, and so I'm like, wow, I think that's because you could see that being such a tragedy for so many people and them using it in the wrong way. So it just makes you respect her even further. We know who we're all marrying, so
you don't know. How dare you jump ahead?
Sorry. I don't even know if she's in the choice. I don't know.
Oh my God, this is why it's taken so long to get him on the podcast, folks. Okay, much like the movie, let's just go to Japan. Boom, poof, we're there.
Much like the movie, there were some edits like that too, where like, oh, all of a sudden he's in the rain dying.
So Yukio collects Logan and he's like, Yoshida wants to see you. Oh, so we go to Japan. For the ladies and gays, this bathtub scene is perfection. Elim, do you have any thoughts you want to share about this bathtub scene?
It was just very funny to me that they're acting as if Wolverine is not like a grown man. Like he doesn't know how to bathe himself. He's not like he doesn't know how to, like he's a caveman, like he's Tarzan. And I'm like, he's walking around. He has clothes on. Like it's not like you found him in a forest because he went to it. He's not like
he chose that
uncivilized, but they did have to like bathe him and like hold him down as if he was a wily bear. But there were parts where they were like, where he was like, I know how to do that. And I was like, I think you know how to do all of this.
Oh yeah, he was like, I can do that part when they were trying to go to his nether regions.
That is so true. It's like usually a guest comes over, you're like, here's your towel, go take a shower. But for some reason with him, it's like we need 3 people to strangle you down and scrub everything.
I guess he was just absolutely filthy. They were like, you clearly need help because you haven't. I think they were like, well, you clearly haven't bathed, so we have to do this for you.
Yeah.
Then we get this idea of like the idea of Ronin, the samurai without a master, which I think is fucking badass. And then we talk to Yoshida, who's on this like crazy bed. Did it look comfortable with these like metal beads?
No.
How to do this? I mean, I don't just want to like retell the plot of it, but like this, I think this is like the very new arc. There's like a mystery element. Like we're meeting all the characters that are like the suspects in this this conspiracy plot. We get to see old Yoshida, and like his whole thing is like, I think this is where he says he wants Wolverine's. He basically wants to trade places. Like, give me your mutant ability, and then you can just die.
Yeah, he's like, you hate your life, and I want to live. So just let's switch it around. You die eventually, and I get to be young, healthy me again.
Yeah, I did that once with Leonardo DiCaprio. I tried to trade lives with him, and he wasn't having it. He just was like, "Who the fuck are you? Leave my property."
Damn. Leo is cold.
He is cold. No,
cold
I don't. But to be honest, I thought he pulled a little bit of the heartstrings there of Logan, but I was like, don't know, like, I mean, I don't want to be a curmudgeon about it, but couldn't he see it coming a little, like that, like,
I mean, I think the big thing is that he was dying, so it was like I don't
so
think anyone knew that he was going to put on a silver samurai robo
well,
armor
no,
suit.
no.
Yeah.
No, but I'm thinking like, wait, because he kind of alludes that he's gonna use the power for somebody, right?
Hmm.
He's the one on the deathbed, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the but
Right. But you're saying Logan, and you're looking out for Logan. So it makes sense. And you're thinking
yeah,
that Logan Wolverine should have seen this coming a little bit, that there was something shady happening.
or just kind of, I don't know if he pulled on his heartstrings enough,
Hmm.
like, to be like, I mean, I guess Logan really at that moment did want to like die, so that makes sense, but like, or he was ready to like live a normal life, but I still felt like, man, this old man is taking advantage of you,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I
right?
think there's, it's that fucking honor or whatever. They saved each other's lives, and like they lived in a hole for God knows how long.
That's
That
true.
bonds you.
You're in
Yeah.
a hole with a man in 1945. You're never gonna forget it.
Never
You'll
going to
Well,
forget that.
forget it forever.
and
It's
you would
never going
know
away.
because you know everything about 1945. So
That is
Yes.
a saying. You guys don't know. That's a very popular idiom from 1945. Hole with a man, you never forget it.
You never.
you
Could you say it
have
one more
that.
time? You're in a hole with a
Live in a
man.
hole with a man, you never
You
forget
never
it.
forget it.
Oh my God. I saw that t-shirt in somewhere in a shop, and on the back it hashtagged World War II. So I
Wow.
figured,
They hashtag roll.
yeah. It's
And I think ultimately that is the theme of this movie. If you live in a hole with a man, you're never going to forget it. And boy, they did not. Uh, Alib, there's no cute way to get into this. Talk to me about the snake woman. Ironically, they called Dr. Green, but when you look her up on Wikipedia, she's just called Viper. It's all the same thing.
She was the most like obviously evil doctor person from
Oh
jump. It was
yeah.
like, this is
Oh
not
yeah.
a question that you are bad. It is very your hairstyle. I did also love throughout the movie, everyone is dressed kind of normal, but she is
Mhm.
always in like a halter top that's like leather and bead.
Mhm.
It is just very different than what everyone else is doing. Because she's like, yeah, I'm the hot villain, and I'm letting you guys know that from day one.
Oh my gosh. She a trope of film noirs, there's always a blonde femme fatale, and here she is. Look no further. But God, her funeral outfit, I don't know. Sorry to be the gay man on the call, but she was giving me life. I was she this woman was just like, so I'm a snake? Got it.
Mhm. It's like, oh, I'm giving snake everywhere I go. That's
It's
not
giving
questioning.
snake. Yeah.
She had acrylics. She had Viper
Mhm.
lady nails. It was very fun. I did enjoy. It was camp. She was doing her own little thing on the side.
Yeah. I even loved her, like it felt like death becomes her when she like pulls the skin off and her hair just flops off.
Yeah, she's like fully bald, and
Hmm.
you can tell she loves kind of being like ugly hot too.
Yeah.
Bam.
I mean, it's one of those things where like X-Men, this is where X-Men subtlety goes out the window. Like, there is, I don't know if you guys ever saw the first X-Men, there was the villain Toad who had the powers of a toad. And it was like, okay.
okay.
It's like to the point where like they just are that animal. And I was like, okay, so she's a viper. Gotcha. And her tongue and the little like,
It's a fine line between superpower and spirit animal.
yes, very much.
Also, side note, it had that vibe a little bit of like the chiropractor being like, "No, I'm a doctor."
Mhm.
Yeah, you're like,
Like,
what
are you
medicine?
a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a doctor, or do you just love drama?
Yeah.
Are you a doctor, or you do just love drama?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also with the whole like how graphic this movie was, maybe more than I expected. Her a lot of like up close stabbing, up close face
Hmm.
choking, but she would like get into people's necks with her nails and just kind of
With her coke nail.
with her coke nail, her
Coconut,
pinky
yeah.
finger,
Hmm.
and just get right in there.
God.
Did she
So
do a bump at one point?
she what?
Did she do a bump at one point? I thought maybe I saw them sneak that in. I know
I
that's
don't.
that would be very Disney of them to do, but
Mhm.
just kind of get that nail in a little. I think I might have seen it.
I don't recall, but I wouldn't put it past her.
We might have to rewatch.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely going to rewatch this movie. I love this movie. Wolverine's great. I just finished watching it before we recorded, so it's very fresh. So
Full disclosure, I fell asleep on it last night, and then
no, finish your thought.
No,
I fell asleep on this great movie.
I fell asleep because it was late. That's the main reason. It has nothing to do with the movie. But then I watched the rest of it this morning, so I'm fully charged too. Batteries are on.
Okay, batteries, keep them on. We get some more like visual cues. We meet this arrow guy who I believe is called Harada. And we also get Shinjin, who's the father of Mariko, the granddaughter. Logan Hulick, you famously dated a mob boss's daughter. How did that compare to meeting Mariko?
Well, he was a wrestling coach, but same thing. And
okay.
Yeah, high school wrestling coach, mob daughter, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, you dated the daughter of your wrestling coach?
Not my wrestling coach.
A wrestling coach.
General.
Yeah. Not even at school, just at a club.
What a life you lead. But
no, he really was that. No, I'm kidding. He was a wrestling coach at a school, and it was a rival school of mine. So, but you know, when you're going over the wrestling coach's daughter's house, you're like, oh boy, I really hope dinner goes well. Like,
he might body slam me on the mashed potatoes
on the table. You know, no. So yeah, that was the part that, man, I thought I had to like go through my brain a couple of times that this is actually how they were treating their wives and daughters. I was like, my God.
I know, he full on slapped her across the face.
First, I didn't know. I thought that was her husband or something. And I was like, did they just have like a husband slap his wife in the face? But I mean, it wasn't better. It was her father.
Right.
But that was one of the first scenes, or like in when we finally get to the house, she just gets slapped in the face by her dad, runs off in the rain.
Like, I don't know if it's like a cult, like, they just do not have any interest in having a relationship with these women. They just are basically using them as pawns in the way that they can get the company, you know? And I'm like,
yeah,
power, you know, in politics and all that. And I'm like, God damn.
Because ultimately it's like the reason the slap happened is because the father found out that the grandfather was leaving the whole company to the granddaughter. But
right.
that was just a smokescreen because he's like, girl, I'm gonna be back.
Right.
Insane. We then, I believe, what happens first? Does Snake Woman put the bug in Logan and then the grandfather dies? Is that the order of things?
I guess I don't know when the bug was put in Logan.
Yeah, it was the first time she breathed on him.
Well, he was having that dream about Jean, which we'll talk about her later.
At the same time, basically. So she does it. He wakes up from the dream, and then they're rolling him out.
Right.
Which, by the way, I have one thing to ask real quick,
please.
And this might sound, for lack of a better term, ignorant. Are Japanese homes like this? Because it's a very you know what I'm saying? Like there's no furniture in there. There's no it's just all wooden rooms that have artifacts in them.
I bet, I've never been to Japan, but I bet they're not all like this. But I do think for American Hollywood movies, they adopt this style just so it's visually clear to our American brains. Like, right, Japan, like not here.
Right. But did you see a couch in there? There was no couch.
I don't think criminals sit on couches. That's just my opinion. I don't think crime families do that. People tied to crime families.
This is how I imagine, like, when you see little shots of Kim and Kanye West's home, like there's no furniture in it. It's very minimal. It was architecture. It's intentional. Nothing to be comfortable, and it's rigid. And I liked it. I loved their house.
In the movie or Kim and Kanye's?
Oh, in the movie.
Oh, well, because I did too. I actually liked it. It makes me want to go there, but I'm like, am I going to be disappointed? Or am I just going to see a ranch style home with carpet on it? You know?
I mean, perhaps. Um, you know, we were saying it was a very rigid home, correct? Like in what they want to put there. And much like a rigid Japanese home in an American film, this podcast is very rigid, and we are going to take a break. Classic Podcast 616. We've only covered the first act in the first 30 minutes of talking. But that's par for the course. I love the setup. When we come back, we're going to talk about the fucking amazing action in this movie. We're going to talk about the ultimate plot. And sadly, we are going to have to address Jean Grey. This woman, much like Wolverine, she haunts me. Get out of here. But you don't get out of here, because Podcast 616 will be right back. Welcome, everyone, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
And we're back. This funeral sequence is beautiful to me. I feel like from the time the funeral starts till like the Love Hotel post Bullet Train, it's just like go, 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 go. Elim, you famously watched this movie on an airplane. How did you contain yourself in your seat during this this action sequence at the funeral?
There was a lot of I don't like violence when people hit each other up close, and it's very I was doing a lot of like in my seat, and also like grimacing and being like, ooh, that hurt probably. Also, there was so much jumping onto like ankles. I was like, I just kept thinking, are people's ankles not able to withstand? I know that I've watched action films growing up, but I think this is my first time really watching an action-y film in my late 20s, where I was like, all I could think about was the joints and how my ankles would snap in half if I did any of this movement. But the funeral was the guy on the, what was his name?
Harada, I believe.
Yeah. He was just like watching. I loved that he was just watching from the roof, like, I'm going to protect my queen. He was really bad at it. They all were so bad at protecting her.
Except for Logan.
Yeah, at one point, Logan falls asleep because you can't have a bodyguard who has like very active dreams and hallucinations, because he's kind of off in his own world. And someone could just kind of snatch her up while he's kissing Jean Grey.
Being off in your own world is a Logan thing.
He's been through you remember 1945? He's been around. Let the man sleep. He's never
haunted.
He's over 100 years old.
Well, I meant that I do the same thing, Damon.
All Logans.
All Logans. Hashtag not all Logans. But apparently we're saying all Logans are haunted. But yeah, I totally agree. I think, Elim, that's definitely a sign of age when you're thinking about their bodies. But also, I think this movie, that's also a factor of this movie, because like, Dr. Green, Viper Woman, has now injected Wolverine with this little bug thing. So he's starting to feel the hits. So like, I think there is more of a focus on like the bullet holes and like when he gets cut, because he's not healing like he normally would, which I'm just going to say right there, maybe this is the wrong audience, but in this call, but if you're listening, this movie is giving me Iron Man 3 vibes. And if you're looking for another Marvel movie that's good, I recommend Iron Man 3. Best Iron Man, and I will fight people about that. Okay, I'm glad I got that out there. We hit the streets. We're on the run. I just want to get to the fucking bullet train. Can we just get to? Can we just?
I was gonna say, I also think this movie is like an advertisement for visiting Japan because everything. I was like, I want to go to this love hotel. I want to be on a fancy train that goes 300 miles an hour. I was on a flight as I was watching it. I was like, I wish I was on a really fast train instead
Exactly.
of like.
You want to see a house like that? Like yes, this is just.
And then when they go off to like the countryside, I was like, I want to go there. It looks so peaceful, so beautiful.
Like, how about the
Nagasaki.
Hangover? How about the Hangover shot? Like when they so you know in the Hangover when they get to Vegas and they're like looking out the window and stuff and like but like he has that shot when he gets to Tokyo. Logan does. He like rolls down the window. He's like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, it's just like one big like come to Tokyo ad.
I'll say it worked on me.
It did. I've already was looking at flights.
Okay, send me some things. We don't have to hang out together, but I just want to know what flight you're on. I mean, God, the bullet train sequence was just so cool to me. Like, I love how the bad guys also had their knives. They're like, oh, Wolverine's using his claws. I'll just use my knives and dig into this. Must be some strong steel that they're using to just.
Do you ever watch a scene in a movie like this where you're like, that's going to be the really hard level in the video game?
I do indeed think that, yes.
Yeah, that bullet train is what got me. I was like, fuck, I'm never passing this in a video game. Like, because you know you're going to have to do all the dodging and the jumping and all that, plus the fighting, plus the train's going to be hard to navigate. I was like, this is...
Oh, yeah. Awesome. And I love that Wolverine did a fake out, and that's how he saves the day in the end. Because, you know, we don't talk about this. Wolverine's kind of smart. I know he lives in the woods and his best friend is a bear who did die. Didn't talk about that. R.I.P. that bear.
And he had to kill the bear or like fully kill it, right? Because it wasn't dead all the way and he had to like mercy kill it. I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I was like, poor Logan. He's just forced to kill the things he loves constantly.
And I real quick going back to that. It's I feel like to beat up the douchebag at the bar it's just, I don't know. It's a good feeling. You know, I'm glad Logan.
You're a fan of it.
Yeah. You know, he had this whole journey. He got to get that out at the beginning. And I thought that was good for the bear.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll start with you, Elim. Elim. Oh my God. I want to pick up with Jean Grey. What were we saying?
Well, I know we were talking Bullet Train, right?
Oh, Bullet Train. Yo, yeah. Well, yeah, I pretty much, you know, I liked how he faked them out. I
have one thought on the Bullet Train.
What is your one thought on the Bullet Train?
My favorite part of that whole sequence, because there's so much madness happening. They're literally moving 300 miles an hour and using their claws to not fall off. And then there's just like a cut to Mariko on the train with her headphones in, like bopping to her song because she has no idea that anyone's trying to murder her. Yeah. And that was my favorite part of the whole movie, where she's just like, do, 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 do. And they're like fully all killing each other to get to her.
Right. It's such
I like Mariko a lot.
Oh, you do?
I do. She's great.
So I want to talk about Jean Grey. And as both of you are not, you know, big Marvel fans, this is your time. Do you have any questions about Jean Grey? Do you want to know how it ended? Like, I'm here. I know everything, unfortunately. So what do you want to know?
Well, it had ex-girlfriend vibes. That's for sure. So.
No pun intended.
Yeah. God.
I had no idea. I was like, I'm sure he did something to her. But then I went on Wikipedia and the first thing it said was he was forced to kill her. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Why he's so haunted.
Right. I mean, I'm sure if you listen to our X-Men The Last Stand podcast, you will get all my thoughts on this. But, you know, Jean Grey is a character who is always destined to her power become, she has like psychic abilities and she can move things in her mind. And basically every iteration of that character, it gets too much for her and she turns to the dark side. She becomes this character called the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm sure there's a Phoenix arc. It's it only works in comic books. It never works in the movies. They've tried it twice. They did it once with Famke Janssen, and then they did it again with Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones in the prequels.
Why do you think it doesn't work?
I think this is a powerful question. Why doesn't it work? I think because it's something that I think only works in a serialized television or like comic book issue thing where like you need to see Jean normal and fun for like 100 issues and then you do this twist and then it's like more painful. I think it's really hard to do it in a movie, especially in an ensemble movie, because like she's never been given enough time, in my opinion, to deserve a Phoenix storyline in the movies, because we just don't spend that much time with her for me to like really care that she's taking this dark turn. Thank you for asking that question. I do need to have that opinion.
I think that, and, yeah. Well, real quick side note before we get, I have a few of these. I'm sorry, but
please.
How do you say? Is it Famke Janssen?
I say Famke. Yeah,
Famke Janssen. I mean, first of all, great job with the accent as Jean Grey.
You think? What was the accent?
She's like from. Have you seen her in Goldeneye? I feel like she has a great. I mean,
is she Russian or some kind of European?
She's something European, like I don't know.
She's from the Netherlands.
There you go.
I had no idea.
I mean, a name like that, I thought maybe Swedish.
True.
Yeah. And then I was looking, because I was looking her up, because I was like, where do I know her from? Well, she's obviously doing a Russian accent then in Goldeneye. Okay. So now I'm thinking that's her real accent.
I think this is her real accent, and she was doing accent work in the other movie.
This is Logan's big push to just talk about Goldeneye. I get it.
No. That's why you can't do accents in auditions, because if you do them really well, they think you're that coming out,
Absolutely.
You gotta clarify. So, and she was also born in 1964.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on. Jean Grey.
Jean Grey
might be dead, but you're looking alive.
She for a dead woman, she looks great. And I don't mind her here. The only bad thing about her being here is that it reminds me of the Jean Grey plot, which I don't think is good. But I think, again, for this, like, we're doing a noir. I think it's very noir to have like your hero to have this like tragic past. I mean, he killed the woman he loved, and he's like, oh, he's haunted. I think Wolverine only works when he's haunted.
Yeah, the nightmares are cool too.
Yeah,
I think they are good.
And ultimately, I did like that the lesson was to like forgive himself and to like, forgive himself that like he did take the read I had was that he got a toxic person out of his life, which I think is very important. Kind of something I'm going through right now. If we want a little peek behind the curtain, but I think it's great
to peek. Pull it back.
No, don't worry, Logan. I'm really into getting toxic people out of my life right now, and we do need to have a conversation after this podcast.
I'm here today, so I feel better.
Yeah.
Another little peek behind. In my notes, I wrote, "This is why I have toxic relationships," because the Wolverine man, he's so haunted. He's bad at communicating. He's violent, kind of unreliable, whatever, because he's dealing with a lot. But I was like, oh, what a guy, like what a gentleman. Like he's not.
I completely agree. I had to keep checking myself. I was like, no, don't go for people who are that fucked up.
Like there's too much. You can't unpack that. He dealt with a fucking nuclear bomb, and you're like, maybe I could heal you with my love. What?
Yeah. You're like, maybe I can make him a dad.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I think like we do tend to go for people that are fucked up a little, though, don't we? Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I think it's God. I've been reading a lot of comic books, and there was a comic book I was reading where someone was saying you love what you save, and you save the thing you love. You want to save the thing you love. You love what you want to save, and you want to save what you love.
Hashtag World War II.
World War.
Yeah.
The whole point of World War II. Quick question for you: if y'all went to a love hotel, would you choose Dungeon, Nurse's Office, or Mission to Mars?
Oh my God, good question.
I was like, I have to ask when I heard those choices.
I think Mission to Mars.
That's what they
It's worth
chose,
to
right?
explore, perhaps. Is that what he chose? Yeah.
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 I loved that scene. I just loved the Love Hotel. And he was like, I want separate rooms. And they goes, unfortunately, we only have rooms where you guys have to cuddle. Like, I love that. I
Mhm.
love a little plot device.
Yeah.
I love it. And it and it fit with the movie because the movie was like, I mean, for lack of a better term, it was kind of horny, like throughout.
That is the accurate term. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the best term to use.
So Love Hotel was they nailed the mark on that. I don't know if I would want to stay in Dungeon, but I'd want to see Dungeon.
Yeah. I would want to see all of them. Yeah.
Like, Dungeon, well.
I mean, nurse's office sounds the most clean, so I would do that.
Yeah, but you can do nurse's office in your own room,
True, but I'm at the Love Hotel,
And I love
see
the
what they're gonna do.
receptionist, like the desk lady, just the most unromantic woman with her cat. Sorry, what do you want?
Perfect.
What?
And if they came back, oh my God. Because wasn't it the desk lady and her son? Am I wrong about that?
Wait, what happened?
Did I get that confused? Wasn't it the desk lady's son who's a veterinarian?
Oh, yeah. Her son was a vet who
worked on Logan when he was.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that part. Did he like sew him up? Oh, that's how he got the stitches.
When he got the
where
stitches,
he was like, sorry, you were scratching him a lot while you were sleeping because the claws kept coming out while he was trying to do this vet. It was like he was a veterinarian for like large animals.
Yeah, fast forward.
Because again, he is treated like he is a large bear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just love that it was her son. I don't know.
Let's scurry on down through the rest of this movie because we got to talk about that giant fucking robot. They go south. They go back to Nagasaki. We get a flashback, which I have titled "How I Met Your Grandfather." The new spinoff. There's this hot ass kimono scene. Speaking of horny, I truly could not remember if they had sex, if they fucked, and I was like, oh, they absolutely did, and I applaud because Mariko, she knows how to. That's what we call a closer, and I'm like, good for you, girl.
She's a closer. She closed us all.
She closed us all. Basically, we find out that the whole plot that the dad hired the yakuza to kidnap Mariko, so he gets the company, which turns out to be like a whole side plot to the main thing. And then we get and Yukio comes back and she's like, "Oh my God, I saw your death, Logan. You're gonna die with your heart in your hand," which is so fucking romantic. I know it's sad, but like, what a romantic way to go,
Elim is just sighing right now, just stressed out.
Well, first of all, I'm like, the fact that your dad is plotting to murder you is so fucked up.
Mm-hmm,
And her fiance is also in on it and is like cheating on her, which she's not in love with him in any way, but like there was that whole scene where he like again like face punches right up close. I was on the plane like with my fingers covering my eyes when he just gets like punched in the face. I don't know why. I know it's fake, but still I react.
Right. And the toxic ex relationship thing in this movie, that theme, it's like, have we all been like they're getting at all of us at like these toxic relationships we've had.
Truly. Could you relate?
No. Maybe not that one. But yeah, well, okay. That, like you said, Damon, that's for another time.
Yeah, we just want to give glimpses, so people get a little bit more. You're not just getting a superhero podcast here. So yeah, we get that plot revealed, and then we go back to the home. I didn't know there was a pool. I did. Oh, sorry. I wrote the line when he takes the fiance, throws him over the rail, and Yukio's like, "How did you know there was a pool?" And Logan's like, "I didn't." I'm like, "Let's fucking go!" I love that.
He had some one-liners.
He just threw a man over a balcony and was like, and after he gave him the information that he wanted, he was like, "I'm gonna kill you anyway." And I was like, "That's my king. That's my."
Yeah, there you go.
That's absolutely my problematic king.
Yep, and you're back in, and
there he got me again.
And he had a great line before that. He goes, "I told you the truth." He goes, "I didn't like it." Yeah, and then there's a pool down there or something, and then I didn't know.
We get this amazing fight. Yukio. I mean, listener, if you can probably guess we're going with this fuck, marry, kill. But I'm just trying to give enough. I'm honestly torn. So Yukio versus the dad, who's been stabbed with a poison pen and is somehow still put the armor on. He's like fighting her with a sword. This is when Wolverine has figured out that there's like a bug on his heart put it by the Viper Woman, and he's trying to like cut it out of him. And Yukio, being the best bodyguard ever, is fighting him off. This scene, incredible. The swordsmanship in this is out of this world.
Insane. I mean, and again, this dad trying to kill his adopted daughter or whatever. It's like, Jesus, guys, chill out.
I mean, dare I say, original Succession. This is what Succession. I mean, if this was Succession, more people would watch.
Yeah, and it would go from them like fighting so intensely to the Wolverine literally cutting himself open and digging into his own chest cavity, which was so fucked up to watch.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And she was just like, anytime the dad would try to get over there, she's like, I got you, I got you.
When have you ever seen someone dig in and touch their own heart? I mean,
and never.
I mean, right?
I mostly watch Gilmore Girls, so never.
He also hooks himself up to the x-ray machine that the grandfather was on previously, and it just turns on automatically, starts x-raying his whole body. As you know, all doctor machinery is so easy and just a one-click touch to start.
Yeah, it works like a TV.
Yeah, exactly. And then to piggyback off that, what an asshole move by the dad to come in and just kind of slightly push it away, and then Logan's like, now I can't see, you know?
Yeah. But he gets out the little bug thing that's suppressing his mutant power. And then he's like, this is where I'm like, my king is back. Because he is, okay, Hugh Jackman looks so fucking good. I'm so sorry, guys. This man, we are lucky. We are lucky. Do you hear that? If you ever feel bad, just remember Hugh Jackman played Wolverine. We're so lucky.
Yeah. I mean,
he looked so good. Just
I cannot believe
the shit out of his dad.
I can't believe a human can be that jacked.
Absolutely. And it's great that his name has Jack kind of in it, just to let you know.
Yeah.
It's like he's put on this earth to do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Most ripped person, like every vein was throbbing at all times. And again, like I think older me watching these movies, younger me, it's like, oh yeah, someone just gets super buff for a movie. I'm like, this man ate chicken cutlets and like broccoli for 6 months straight, and like probably
Nothing
ate like
else.
5,000 calories a day just to like bulk up, and was in the gym. The sheer devotion that this man had to be that jacked.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you.
I was talking to my trainer and I was like, you know, how do I get my
give me the Hugh Jackman.
I was like, how do I get I want my abs to show a little more, you know? I'm not like Hugh Jackman, but like I'm thinking like, and she's like, yeah, that's gonna be all diet. And I was like, oh fuck. Okay. Well, yeah. Hugh, touche.
I truly, yeah, it's not just the gym, it's the food, like it's the things you're putting in your body, and that's always the hardest thing for me, because I love potatoes. What can I say? I'm from the Midwest.
Right.
All right, so we get the name of the movie. I'm the Wolverine. I do want to give a shout out. I think it was a beautiful metaphor of like cutting out the pain. Like he was digging into his, like the whole time he's like feeling guilty about Jean Grey. He thinks he's a bad guy, and he's literally cutting out the bad thing in his heart. And like the dad's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the Wolverine, and like taking the sword out. Like just, you know, it can, I feel like if Christopher Nolan did this, it could be a little bit more darker. But I think this, I don't know, this is the kind of cheese I like. I like this cheese of like, I am the Wolverine.
It didn't feel cheesy too. I don't know.
Okay.
No, not to me. I felt like it was well done by, yeah.
Okay, good. I honestly feel embarrassed because I liked it. So just like, this is so corny, right?
No, I feel like it was good.
Okay.
He was like letting himself care again. So I liked that it was, you have to literally cut yourself open and rip your heart out to do that. He has a line at one point where I don't remember what fight scene it was, but he said like, don't hit my friends.
Yeah, it was this. Yeah, it was this one when he finally gets it out. And oh my god, that made my heart swell.
You went from being alone and your only friend was a bear, and now you got human ones. You let people in again.
Right, he's built a community by being a good guy. See, this is how you get into him again, you know?
He's not a bad guy at all, and he's not haunted, and I could fix him just easy.
Right. See, this is why Wolverine is not up for fuck, marry, kill, because we would all problematically marry him.
Yeah, and then we'd all be tortured, you know? Poor Mariko. Maybe they can live a good life. I don't know. He did just kind of like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. He kind of one night standed her. Let's be honest.
I
They did
mean,
it to each other. It felt like she was like, I'm a busy lady. She's like, this was kind of she's like, I've got a business to run. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got things to do.
You got to
They
be the
need each
Wolverine.
other for that time, you know?
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's like, they dropped a little like, we'll see each other again hint kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer in having a port in every storm. Wherever you go, I think I don't know. This is something I might regret later in life, but I think it's okay. Just have people in everywhere you go. Just have a little, yeah.
Yeah, Damon's known for getting back on his private jet after a one night stand with his body.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Costner. Let's we have to wrap this up. So let's just zip through this final act. It gets revealed that Yoshida is actually alive, and he wants to. This is an official Marvel character, the Silver Samurai. So this is an actual comic book character, and so it's all been a big plot to get Wolverine's power, either by asking or by force, through the help of so he actually gets the claws destroyed, which is amazing. And then Mariko, I love this little thing. She dropped that she was a expert knife wielder, and she picks up the claws and she like throws them like knives at her grandfather.
That was
so good. And then
specific.
Mariko and Yukio together, they defeat the Snake Woman. Finally, that bitch just went on to die. And your time's done. Stop spitting at us. So they save the day. They defeat Silver Samurai. Wolverine goes back to just Bone Claw Wolverine, no adamantium. And then, Mariko gets the company. And then Yukio and Wolverine hop on a jet and are bound for who knows what, because we never see Yukio again. Spoiler alert, she's not in the next Logan movie. There's a whole nother thing happening there. And that's the movie.
Well, what's the moment at the end where he's like, when he kills the grandfather, who's we know is evil now. Or the granddaughter, like she stabs her own grandfather in the throat, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, this was cheese. This was a little too cheese for me, where he goes, sayonara. And I was like,
that was cheese.
The setup was good because he was like, hey, you asked me to come to say goodbye. Like, that's great. And then he went with sayonara. And I'm like, all right.
That was cheese.
And then the Ninja Turtles show up.
Wait, what happens to the dad? So Logan says you got to live with it that you tried to kill your daughter, but then he does end up killing him in that next part, right?
Because the dad came back. He was like, no, I'm going to kill you now. And then that's when we get I'm the Wolverine. Yeah.
He tried to save him and like let him live, but he wanted to be that he needed to die. He was a bad guy. He was trying to kill his own daughter. You got to get out of here. And your adopted daughter. You're not salvageable. You got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I agree. Some people need to die. Some people need to be married. Some people need to be fucked. And that brings us to our final segment, and our favorite segment this week and every week, fuck, marry, kill. On the docket, I'm very impressed with who's showing up today for this. We've got 3 picks for a fuck, marry, kill. We got Yukio, Mariko, and Dr. Green, aka Viper Woman. I will go first to give my guest time to think. It feels like obvious to me, but don't feel pressure to do what I do, but I do think I have the right answer. I'm gonna fuck Mariko because she's a busy lady. In this, I am Wolverine, so I will also have just saved her life, and so it's just gonna be a one-off thing. I'm gonna kill Viper, Dr. Green. I can't imagine how we could do anything else. I feel like every kiss I'd be worried, are you gonna kill me? And also in relationships, I like to be the one who serves. I think we'd be competing for attention. I'm gonna marry Yukio. I'm gonna make her never tell me how I die. I can't know that. But yeah, I just like that she's so supportive and she'll like always be there for me. She fucking rocks. And she, like me, has a very messy. I could help her clean up her car because that was painful to see. Those are my picks. Elim, please share with us
Okay, I'm going to kill Dr. Green. Obviously, she didn't do it for me. She was serving, of course. She had great fits, but she was almost too campy of a villain that I wasn't like, you're so hot. I was like, you're being ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kill her. I'm going to fuck Yukio because I think she's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great time. But I do think I'd be too depressed knowing that burden that she carries with her. That would be a lot for my wife and I to deal with because of course, I would take on my wife's burdens.
Of course.
In a healthy way. And I think that would be hard to do when she knows how everyone's going to die. I also don't want that information. I don't want to know when I'm going to die. I would marry Mariko because she made me feel so at peace. I love her energy. First of all, she's stunning. We haven't said that, but she is like fully a model. Mariko is like
beautiful. Yes.
And like very elegant looking, so graceful. Love her. And when they were just in Nagasaki together, like playing house, basically, I was like, this is heaven on earth. I want to live exactly where they are in a little cottage. She was like, she can cook. She made him food. They
That
made
soup look good. Yeah.
Look delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's wifey material. Mariko is wifey material. And so I will go ahead and marry her if she will have me.
I support that. I would say this is one of the first times where there's only one wrong answer, and and we'll see. I mean, the man of the hour, Logan himself. Let's see if Logan does what Logan does. Logan, who are your picks?
I am Logan. No. Oh, that was bad. I started the podcast before you got on with my shirt off.
He did. He did do that.
to be in costume. So okay. So, oh my God, I was gonna try to shock the world on this one, but you just can't. You can't. I was thinking maybe I'll fuck Dr. Green Viper. I mean, she does pull the snakeskin off, which is a euphemism, you know.
Jesus. Is it?
For what?
Yeah, what is that a euphemism for?
Think about it.
Oh my God.
The snake, the condom?
Okay.
Okay. I've never heard a condom referred to as a snakeskin.
That's the snakeskin. So
God, we were doing so well, Logan. We were doing so well.
I know. We really.
We're almost done. We're almost out of here.
I know. Cut this part. So you know, you want to be able to do it, but I can't. I agree. A little too campy, a little too bad breath for me. So I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna kill her off. And I'm gonna go with my fellow guest here. I'm gonna fuck Yukio, because I think it would be fun, you know, kind of like fuck your friend, you know, kind of thing. Which, you know, no strings attached, you know, could be a great time. And then, you know, the woman of the hour, Mariko. I mean, put a ring on it for real. I think I think she's got it all. And I think she has a sensitive side to her that I really like, you know. She's Absolutely. In touch with that side of herself. And for as much shit as she's been through, I really, you know, I'm rooting for her, and I'd like to be by her side.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you be the Tom Wamsgans to her Shiv Roy, because she got the whole company.
Exactly, right?
She got that money.
Yes, man.
I know that about you. Beautiful. That is fuck, marry, kill. This has been such a wonderful conversation. Thank you guys so much. I love the Wolverine. I think this is one of my top 3 Marvel movies of all time. Truly, I would say the Wolverine, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and Iron Man 3. Those are the best ones. If you ever, from here on forward, if anyone's like, what Marvel movie should I watch? I'm gonna say watch the Wolverine. It's such a good one-off action movie, and I was very excited to see that the director of this also directed the next movie, Logan, and I'm excited to see where this goes. But for now, let's wrap this up. Elim, do you have any social medias, shows coming up? What's going on in your world?
Oh yeah, I come to Logan Square Improv on Thursdays. I do a weekly show there if you're in Chicago.
Nice.
And
What's the show called?
It's just the Thursday show, but me and my duo partner, women of a certain age, we're kind of amazing and we love to perform together. Oh, and Satirical Race Theory at IO, an all-black cast. Come on.
I've been seeing posts about that. I'm coming to Chicago in August, and I would love to come see that show.
I don't think it'll be running then, but it might get extended. We'll see.
Okay. People need to be ready for when I come to their cities. Beautiful. Those sound like wonderful shows. Please go see those. Logan Hulick, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh my God. Well, like you said, I'm a pool boy, so I'm you can come swim in the pool that I clean in a couple hours. No, I'm at Logan Hulick, Hulick, is the socials, and yeah, I do some improv every now and then. I do some TV, film, acting, all that. So just check it out. Nothing crazy to promote right now. I really did enjoy doing this with you guys, though. Elim, it was so nice meeting you and chatting, and Damon, I thought this was awesome. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And hopefully, if the recording got fucked up, you might have to do it again. We'll see.
If you dare.
We'll see. This is Podcast 616. You can follow us on Instagram at Podcast616P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Podcasts, our podcasting network that allows me to talk about all the Wolverine movies in July. They're crazy. Shout out to my producer, Michael. Wish you were here. I usually ask him what letter grade he would give this podcast. I'm going to say he would give us an A++. You can follow me, Damon Royster, at Damon Royster on Instagram. All the information you want is there. Next week we're gonna finish our Wolverine talk with Logan, where Patrick Stewart joins, and I believe there's a little girl who also has claws. So I think it's like a fun road trip movie. Great. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Elim. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, don't forget that with great power comes even greater responsibility.